Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of Hot Money Talks. My name is Christine, the Money Mechanic, and you know I help you fix your finances. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to cope in a hyperinflated economy. Now, Nigeria is facing a hyperinflation, and this has caused it to be very difficult for people to live on a daily basis. The question is, how do we cope in an economy that is hyperinflated? Today, I will share with us 10 tips on how to cope and survive in a hyperinflated economy. Let's go. What is inflation? Inflation is the increase in the price of goods and services over a period of time. Now, when this happens, it leads to the loss of purchasing power for us as consumers. And like I said earlier, it becomes increasingly difficult to live by the day. Now, what is a hyperinflation? A hyperinflation then is the rapid, excessive, out of control increase in the price of goods and services in an economy. Now, Nigeria is currently going through a hyperinflation. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, as at January 2024, Nigeria's inflation rate stood at 29.90%. Now that is crazy. The question again begs an answer. How do we cope in Nigeria's hyperinflated economy? The very first coping mechanism is to use a budget aggressively. Aggressively, because if you were not using a budget before, you now need to start using it and then use it aggressively. The economy is not smiling. We know it. Prices of things are on the rise crazily. You need to be able to use a budget. And if you know what a budget is, you will know that a budget is simply a plan for your money. When we're spending, we need to prioritize our needs over our wants. When planning to spend your money, you must first of all put your needs ahead of your wants. Second coping mechanism is to diversify your income. So at this point in time, with the way the economy is, you cannot have one source of income. You have to be earning from just more than your 9-to-5 job or your one business. This is now the time to pick up your skills, your interests, your passions that can earn you more money and put them to use. And an additional tip to this is, if you can earn in foreign currency, by all means, go ahead. Third coping mechanism, pay your debt aggressively. You know why this is important? Because debt slows you down. And right now, if you are in debt, what this essentially means is that any income you are making right now, a chunk of it will go back into paying debt. So you would have used the same income to take care of a few expenses. However, you have debt staring you in the face, right? So you now need to prioritize your debt over your needs. Pay your debt aggressively. The fourth coping mechanism in this hyperinflated economy is to calculate your movements very carefully. What does this mean? We know that fuel is on the rise, transportation costs on the rise. This means that you have to be very careful with your movements, right? So you no more have the luxury of going, for one errand, then coming back home, and then going out again. No. This is the time to align your movement. If you're leaving the house in the morning, you ensure that you are able to align your movement, do everything you need to do, run all your errands, and then go back home at once. This is also the time to begin to do things like carpooling. For parents who have children in school, you can choose to carpool with other parents. You can decide to say, okay, Mr. A is going to handle drop-offs while Mrs. B is going to handle pickups. We have a central location where we meet up and we all head out together and all of that. This is also another hack to cope in this hyperinflated economy. Another tip that will help you cope in this hyperinflated economy is to get a financial advisor, get a money coach, like the Money Mechanic. The whole idea is, if you never thought that you needed some kind of guidance on your financial journey before, you do now, especially with what is going on in the economy. You need someone who has the experience, who has the passion, who has the knowledge, right? Who has the resources in terms of course, knowledge, worksheets, books, and all that will be able to help you progress even in this economy with your finances. Diversify your investments. investments. Now, this is yet another way to cope in such an economy. Now, I'm sure you may be wondering, are people investing even in such an economy? Of course they are. You just need the right knowledge to know how best to invest and where to invest in. So diversify your investments. A wise investor does not put all his eggs in one basket. Now, the reason why diversification is very important is because even in an inflated economy, there are certain sectors that are still doing very well. So you just need to know, okay, where can I put my money in right now that will still do well in spite of the inflation? Invest in yourself. It is said that the more you learn, the more you earn. There are no truer words. Your earning potential is affected by your learning potential. If you desire to earn more, even in this economy, then you have to learn more. So spend time investing in yourself. This is the time to buy that course, buy that book, listen to that podcast, follow that coach. Just invest in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you are also investing in your financial freedom. Build an emergency fund. Now, this I cannot overemphasize enough. Do you know that if a lot of us had an emergency fund before the inflation hit hard, we would have had a softer landing? Yes, of course. Why? Because an emergency fund is there for rainy days, and an inflation is a rainy day. Nobody prays for an inflation, but then nobody also knows when an inflation will hit. Talk more of a hyperinflation. The truth is, when you have an emergency fund, you are preparing for unforeseen circumstances. And when those unforeseen circumstances come, the emergency fund now gives you a softer landing in cases like that. A ninth tip to coping in the midst of an inflation is to learn to buy in bulk. Now, when you talk to Nigerians about buying in bulk, they make statements like, now who gets money, they buy in bulk. But my response to that is, now who they plan, they buy in bulk. Bulk buying is really all about planning, about being ready for the future, right? And if you plan, you can bulk buy. Now, imagine that you had a bag of rice before the inflation really hit hard, right? What that means is that bag of rice can take you a couple of months, right? While you fix your finances and figure out and plan ahead on how to now buy the next bag of rice with the current inflated price. What buying in bulk does for you is that it buys you time. It buys you time to prepare for the next set of expenses in an inflation. And of course, it also takes care of you while you sort yourself out. Finally, the 10th tip on how to cope in an inflated economy is to stay positive. Now, I know that the inflation has its own effect on our mental health, but you see, you cannot rise above the level of your thoughts. You cannot rise above your thinking levels. So you must learn to stay positive. Even in the midst of an inflation, there are still opportunities to increase your income. There are still opportunities for you to make money, for you to multiply money. There is still a chance for you to thrive. And I want you to imbibe a positive attitude. Stay away from negative energy and remind yourself that even in the inflation, you can thrive. I hope that this encourages you and sets you on a path to coping better in a hyperinflated economy. As always, I'm sending you lots of love, lots of light, and a sprinkle of money in between. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more helpful content on how to win with your finances, then like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone you love. Peace out.